Hi all, today guys we are going to start solving some equations that involve distributing and combining like terms. So in our notes we are on page 11. You guys will also need probably a calculator. If not, you can use the calculator that is linked in my website that I have referenced a few times now. All right, so we are going to go ahead and go to page 11. Okay. So just like when we were simplifying last week, we had to distribute and we had to combine like terms. Okay. After we do that, then we will have this equation that we will have to solve. So there's only three that we're actually going to do together. So let's go ahead and try one. Okay, so you guys will see this already looks a little bit harder than the two-step equations, but it's not anything we don't know how to do. Okay, so we have 5 plus 2 times x minus 8, and that has to equal 44. Okay, now if we want to use the bar model, it is fairly hard to visualize this in all these different places, like with distributing. So what we are still going to have to do, and that's why we spent the beginning of the year talking about distributing, we're going to distribute first. Okay, so we have 2 times x minus 8. So 2 times x is 2x. And then we also have 2 times negative 8, because that's subtraction, and that would be a negative 16. Okay, so we distributed this. We also still have plus 5, and it still equals 44. Okay, now I'm going to combine any like terms. So over here, I see that there is a 5 that could be combined with a negative 16 because they are on the same side of the equal sign. So we can put together 5 and negative 16 and get negative 11. Okay. Then from here, guys, if you just want to kind of visualize it out, use a bar model, or just kind of use your problem-solving strategy, you can definitely do that. We have 2 x's. So here are 2 x's. But after that, we're taking away 11, so it's going to be a little bit smaller. Okay, and that full amount is 44. Okay, so we need to figure out what 2 x's are equal to, so then we can figure out what 1 x is equal to, because right now we can't really figure that out. So what we'll do is, because we subtracted it off, let's add it to make a full 2x. Okay, so let's add 11 to this side and we get 55. So here are 2 x's in its entirety, and it equals 55. Okay. So then we have to think about, okay, what adds to 55? They have to be the same thing. So it would be a decimal. It would be 27.5. So if we're right, x should equal 27.5. Okay. So there's really no getting around distributing and combining like terms, but if you would rather do this problem algebraically, let's just scroll down and do that algebraically. 2x minus 11 equaling 44. Okay. Again, our goal is to figure out what this x is equal to. So we need to get rid of this minus 11 first. So we're going to add 11. Yeah, negative 11 with a positive 11 makes a 0. And then we are left with 2 x's equaling 55. Okay. From there, we have 2 x's. We need just 1 x. So we are going to take those 2 and divide it by 2. 2 divided by 2 would make us the 1x that we need. And then 55 divided by 2 would equal 27.5. Okay. All right. So this problem, I made a typo. Shocker. So it is supposed to be an equals 39, not a plus 39. So go ahead and change that on your notes real quick. Okay, so before we can do either a bar model or a just a regular algebraic problem, we need to simplify this side. So if I just looked at this side, my goodness, there's a lot going on. So first I ask myself, is there any distributing? So I see parentheses, I see a number that is attached to the parentheses, so I know I can distribute. So I'm going to distribute the negative 3 to the 2x. So negative 3 times 2x, which would equal negative 6x. Then I'm going to do negative 3 times negative 3, which would equal a positive 9. So to show a positive 9, we will put plus. So that shows then negative 9. Okay. Then the parentheses end, so I'm done distributing, and I'm just going to drop down the plus 10x, and it still equals 39. All right, from here I look and I'm like, okay, I see x's in 2 spots, so I can combine those together because they are on the same side of the equal sign. Negative 6x with a positive 10x, which would make positive 4x. Okay. Then we have 4x's plus 9 equaling 39. So from here, if you want to draw a picture, here are 4x's. So we have 4x's, and we are actually adding 9 to that, and all of that equals 39. Okay, so we need to figure out what these 4x's are equal to. So if we add 9 right here, let's go ahead and take that off. So then these 4x's would equal 30. Okay, then we just have to problem solve. 4x's equaling 30. Each of them would have to be 7.5, I think. Okay. 7.5 times 4 would be 30. Yeah. So if you don't like the bar model, after we distribute, again, you've already done all the hard work. Now we just have to solve it. 4x's plus 9 equaling 39. Okay, so we have 4x's plus 9. So we need to get rid of the plus 9 first, so we know how much the 4x's are equal to. So the opposite of a positive 9 would be a negative 9. Positive, negative makes it 0. 39 minus 9 would be 30. From there, we have 4x's. We only want 1x, so we are going to divide those 4x's into 4s. 4 divided by 4 is a 1. And then 30 divided by 4 would equal 7.5 or 7.5, whichever you prefer. Okay. And then the final problem. Okay. 4x's minus 4, and then that's being multiplied by 7 minus 5x. So we first need to distribute. We see all these parentheses. So let's distribute. We have to ask ourselves what's being multiplied by the parentheses. And I see a 4, but I even actually see a negative 4. So that's just something we need to make sure that we are comfortable with seeing. So we're going to distribute a negative 4 to 7, which would make negative 28. Okay. We're also going to distribute a negative 4 to a negative 5x. So a negative 4 and a negative 5 multiplied together would equal a positive 20. And then we're just going to drop the 4x down. And that still equals negative 20. All right, then I ask myself, okay, look, got x's. I can do it. I can put them together. 20x and 4x would make 24x minus 28. And that equals negative 20. Okay. So now this picture is going to be probably not the best. So me just looking at this problem, I don't want to draw out 24 x's. It probably is not going to be very pretty. So we'll try it. But if I see one that I don't feel like I want to draw that out and problem solve, I'll probably just do it algebraically. So just being comfortable with both is probably a good idea. So 24 x's. I'm just going to call this 24 x's. I'm not going to draw out 24 boxes, okay? But after we have 24 x's, we are subtracting 28, okay? So when I think about the amount, I'm actually taking off 28. Okay, so it's smaller. And when we do that, it equals negative 20. Okay, so again, I took that amount off, and this amount, not 24 x's, but 28 less than that equals negative 20. So to figure this out, we probably need the full 24 x's. I mean, we're missing some of it. So let's go ahead and add 28 back to that. So then we just have 24 x's, okay? And when we put these together, we get 8, okay? So this problem, we just have to be very careful. I have 24 boxes, and each of them have to be the same thing, and they need to equal 8, okay? So it's actually going to be a smaller number. We're going to take 8, and we are cutting that into 24 boxes, okay? Which would actually be a third, okay? Or if you type in your calculator and you get something like that, that works too, okay? So again, if I were to do this and I saw 24 x's, I probably would try to do it algebraically. And even this too, this might be a little hard to understand. 24 boxes equaling 8 would actually be a number smaller than 1, so we have a fraction. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this algebraically just so we feel, oops, there's an X. Okay, with that, okay. Our goal is to get the x's by itself. So we need to get rid of this negative 28 or taking off 28. So we're going to add 28. Negative 20 plus 8, 28 would be a positive 8. So now I don't want 24 x's, I want 1x. So we're going to cut that and divide it out. 24 x's divided by 24 would be the 1x that we need. Okay? Then when you divide 8 divided by 24, again, this is probably why I like this calculator so much, because when we get a new problem, we do 8 divided by 24. It gets you 0.33333, which is cool. But in 8th grade and when we get to high school, we really like fractions a lot more than decimals. So if you hit this little button, convert to a fraction, it converts it for you, and you don't have to really do that much. So pretty cool with that. So x equals 1/3. We'll talk about how to check tomorrow in class. But for today's practice, there is, let's say, 5 delta maths, again, to just practice and make sure we feel comfortable with distributing, combining like terms, and then just solving an equation however you want. All right, see you guys tomorrow.